Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving into one of the most crucial and, let's be honest, sometimes frustrating parts of running a business, sales forecasting. Now, this isn't about gazing into a crystal ball. Nope, it's about using real data in a smart way to actually predict the future of your sales. So, let's get right into it.
So, why should you care so much about getting this right? Well, check this out. A whopping 79% of sales organizations miss their own forecasts by more than 10%. I mean, think about that. That's not just a little off, that's a huge margin of error. It leads to burning through cash, missing out on big opportunities, and honestly, a ton of stress for everyone involved.
Right? So that brings us to the big question. How do you stop just guessing? How do you create a forecast that you, your boss, your entire team can actually look at and say, okay, I trust this. We can build our strategy around this. That's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
First things first, let's get our mindset right. A forecast isn't just a number you report up the chain. It's not just a guess. It's an essential tool. You should think of it as your business's compass.
And I really love this way of thinking about it. You know, a compass doesn't just show you north. It helps you navigate through unfamiliar territory, right? It gives you a reliable direction. A good sales forecast does the exact same thing for your business. It gives you that clarity to make smarter decisions, to plan for growth, to manage your money, and to see trouble coming before it hits.
And the payoff is huge. I mean, we're talking about real, practical benefits. You get way better at strategic planning, like when to launch a new product. Your financial management becomes so much tighter because you're not surprised by cash flow issues. You can spot potential risks and slowdowns early and do something about them. And maybe most importantly, you can set team goals that are ambitious but actually achievable, which is what really gets people motivated.
Okay, so we're all on board with why this is so critical. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's start with a really simple but surprisingly powerful method called the moving average. It's a fantastic way to smooth out all the random noise in your sales data so you can see what's really going on underneath.
All right. To make this real, let's look at an example. This is data from a company, Wallace Garden Supply, showing their demand for fertilizer over 11 years. As you can see, the numbers jump around a bit, right? Up one year, down the next. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to use this history to predict what's going to happen in year 12. So what is this moving average thing? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You're taking the average of the last few data points, say the last 3 years, to make your forecast. The whole point is to iron out those weird, one-off spikes or dips and reveal the real underlying trend.
Let's actually do it. To predict year 12, we'll use a 3-year moving average. So, we look at the demand from years 9, 10, and 11. That was 12,000, 14,000, and 15,000 bags. Add them up, divide by 3, and boom! Our forecast for the next period is about 13,667 bags. See? Pretty straightforward.
But wait, what if last year's sales tell us more about the future than sales from 3 years ago? I mean, that makes sense, right? A simple moving average treats every year the same. But a weighted moving average lets you give more importance, or weight, to the most recent data. This makes your forecast way more responsive to what's happening right now. And just look at the difference this makes. By giving a little more oomph to the most recent year's data, our forecast for year 12 jumps up to 14,000 bags. It's a small tweak in the math, but it creates a prediction that's more tuned in to the latest trend, which is that sales are growing.
Okay, moving averages are awesome, a great place to start, but they can't tell you the whole story. What about those patterns that repeat every year? You know, seasonality. To really get a handle on that, we need to dig a little deeper and uncover the hidden patterns in our data.
And for that, there's a really cool technique called seasonal decomposition. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. It's a way to break your sales data down into its core parts. It's like taking an engine apart to see how all the pieces work together.
Basically, any time series data, like your sales numbers, is made up of 3 things. First, you've got the overall trend, the long-term direction. Are you generally going up or down? Second, there's seasonality, those predictable, repeating cycles, like a big rush every holiday season. And third, you have the remainder. That's just the random, unpredictable noise.
When you can pull these three apart, that's where the magic is. You can plan for your seasonal peaks and valleys while keeping a close eye on your true long-term growth.
And listen, the rabbit hole goes deeper. There are so many other tools you can add to your toolkit. Things like exponential smoothing or linear regression, which is great if you think sales are linked to something else like how much you spend on ads. You can even do cohort analysis to see how different groups of customers behave over time. The big takeaway here is that there's no one-size-fits-all model. The secret is picking the right tool for the specific question you're trying to answer.
All right, but here's a crucial point. Knowing all these fancy methods, that's only half the battle. Seriously, it's just as important to avoid the common mistakes in your process that can totally wreck even the smartest-looking forecast.
So let's run through 5 of the biggest traps you need to dodge. Trap number 1, relying only on past data. You got to blend it with what's happening in the market now. Number 2, ignoring your sales team. They're on the front lines. They know what's really going on. Talk to them. 3, getting way too optimistic about your sales pipeline. Be realistic. Be data-driven. 4, forgetting about seasonality. But hey, we know how to deal with that now, right? And finally, number 5, set it and forget it forecasting. No, your forecast has to be a living, breathing thing that you check and update constantly.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. What's the end goal here? It's all about turning that forecast from something that feels like a shot in the dark into a reliable, trustworthy map for your business.
You know, there's that classic quote from Benjamin Franklin, and it fits perfectly here. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And that's exactly what a good forecast is. It's the ultimate preparation. It lets you get ahead of the game and anticipate what's coming, instead of just reacting to it.
And that really is the mini takeaway. A great forecast isn't some number you carve in stone once a quarter. It's a living process. It's about constantly learning, constantly adjusting, and using that flow of information to make better and better decisions day in and day out.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at your own forecast right now, is it a guess or is it a map? A real map that you can use to confidently chart your future.